Hi, this is JL Holdsworth, the Spot Athletics, coming to you with another Friday technique video. Today we're going to do an exercise that I love, which is upright rows. It's not one that I see done very often. Some of these pansies who are like, oh, your shoulders or whatever. So we call those people weak. They just don't like to do it because they suck. So when I was like 14 years old, the guy that lived in my gym is this little underground gym called TNT in Big Rapids, probably still there. He had the biggest traps I've ever seen. And I asked him, I said, what do you do to get huge traps? Because huge traps are awesome. And everybody knows that. And so he was like, upright rows. So he showed me upright rows, and I've always done them since then, always loved them. And I ended up with some decent sized traps, so I think it probably worked. I think you don't see these because there's a lot of negative stuff about shoulders and this and that on these, but that's when people are doing them incorrectly and way with too much weight. So the incorrect things I see with upright rows, first of all, I like to always use straps with my upright rows. It locks you into the weight. It takes the whole wrist and grip component out of it. If you do happen to have like maybe some tendonitis, an easy bar would be a better choice for you, but you can still do the upright rows, but that'll take a little bit of pressure off your wrists, off your elbows. I prefer to still do them with a straight bar. I like them, it's what I grew up doing. So I like them a lot better for building the upper back and traps. So we do this, the shrugs, some of the things that we see improper. One, people don't have the grip strength to do it. And so instead of using traps, they complain and say, oh, grip strength or whatever. Just use straps. We're working traps, not grip. I have one of the best grips in the world. I still use straps. It's okay. Anybody who says that they don't use straps on anything isn't strong enough to do weight. They can outdo their grip. So they're just weak. So when we do upright rows, some of the things I see wrong. One, people take it too high sometimes. So this is not an issue if you're using the proper weight, but if you're going real heavy and swinging, which is what most people do, most people use it like a power clean. They swing it, it gets way away from their body, and they get way up here, and it's like an upright row slash front raise. That's not right. The bar should stay pretty close to your body. Now, some people take it all the way up to like nose level. That's using external rotation. Now, I don't necessarily see a problem with using external rotation in the upright row. When I was younger, I used to do all my upright rows to my chin. Now, as I've aged, I've realized, as I've gotten smarter, that really the upright row to the bottom of the chest, that's as far as the trap involvement gets your elbows. Once we get past that, then we start turning to external rotation. So I do believe that if you use lighter weights and start with this and build up, you can get into some pretty decent external rotation. The problem is people say, oh, I'm gonna do upright rows, and then they put a ton of weight on and they start trying to throw the weight up there and they hurt their rotator cuff and say it's bad for their shoulders. You know, it's because they're doing it improperly. Start with light weights, bring it to your chin. If you're gonna do it and you wanna start at heavier weights and you haven't been doing them, I only recommend bringing it to that bottom part of the chest. Another way to say is basically to your elbows or upper arms are parallel to your shoulders. I don't think, or parallel to the ground. I don't think that any higher than that, you start to go in external rotation. So that's one of the biggest mistakes why people say it's bad for shoulders. It's not bad for your shoulders, it's bad for your shoulders if you do it wrong. Again, you can do it, and I love doing it up to my chin because I like getting the external rotation work. It helps stabilize for the upper back for the bench press. If you're gonna put big weights on, you gotta have big upper back. Also for squatting, it gives you a nice big shelf to put that weight on. The other big thing that I see wrong with people when they do upright rows is that they use too much leg. So I like high pulls as an exercise. I think they're great. But when we're doing upright rows, we're specifically isolating the traps, the upper back, and people try to like jump with the weight, which a high pull is a high pull, but an upright row is an upright row. So take the legs out, lighten the weight, get rid of the ego. If you want to bring it up to here, if you want to get heavy, still take the legs out, only bring it to here. So those things are mistakes, change them, it won't bother your shoulders, and you'll get a much bigger upper back and a much stronger upper back. Some of the variations I like for upright rows, and one of my favorite that the guy with the ginormous traps taught me when I was 14 and I still do today, is using different grips. So one of my grips, one of the best ones I like is a 777. So I use this a lot, I love this. Start with pinkies on the ring, Now, when you use the motion for pinkies on the ring, you cannot bring it up as high. Your body limits you. Now, if you want to try to bring it up to your chin, you can, but again, you're going to be reverse curling and using the external rotators, and you're going to have to use a much lighter weight. 7 there, right away, bring it down. 7 with the pinkies touching the smooth. Right away, 7, touching the knurling in the middle. That 7-7-7 is something I've used since I've been 14 years old. I love it as a variation. Some other ways to change it up is using a snatch grip upright row. I like this as well, but this one I definitely do not recommend taking to your chin. I recommend, again, only bringing up to there. If you can get it up there, all you're doing is you're gonna be curling. So reverse curls are a different exercise. So there you have it, upright row. I think it builds a big yoke. I think it's a sweet exercise. You should do more of it if you're not doing it, but again, start light, don't swing it away from your body, keep it tight, don't use your legs. And if you have shoulder issues, only take it to here. If you want to involve more upper back, take it to here. Thanks, hope you guys enjoyed this Friday technique video. Visit thespotathletics.com, like our Facebook page, The Spot Athletics. Have a great weekend.